Hello YouTube, this is Chris, Space Engineers. This is a new game. It came out on Steam not too long ago, and they just did an update for it, which is, this is still an alpha, but they did an update which actually brings the crafting system to a more realistic level where you actually have to, you place down blocks or whatever it is you're doing, and then you have to use a torch, or a welder, I guess you'd call it, in order to finish the placement of the block. So we're gonna check out a game that I've got going on right now, and it's really not much. I just started it not too long ago, a couple days ago, and you'll see what I've got going on, and then I'll try to explain a little bit about what's going on and what you're doing, because it is a little intimidating at first to get into this new, especially if you haven't played Space Engineers yet. They had a sandbox mode. It was basically like creative mode in Minecraft. It's very similar. This is like, I hate to say Minecraft in space, because it's really not. I mean, there's a lot of physics involved in the game, and it's a more intellectual version of Minecraft's kind of thought, but definitely executed in a different way, in a more realistic way. I mean, it is kind of science fiction-y, but you know, some of the bases or the basics are there, as far as there's a gravity engine. Also, the things behave differently because there's no atmosphere. So, and in space, objects in motion want to remain in motion. This is Newton's laws, and they won't stop. You could turn off your inertial dampeners, and either yourself or the craft that you're piloting will actually continue to go off in a direction. And I will demonstrate that right now. We're going to throw on our pack here, and I'm not on the deck anymore, so I'm just going to go forward, and then I'll let off, and you can see my speed on the left hand side drops down to nothing, 0 meters per second. Now if I hit Z and I take off the inertial dampeners, now what's going to happen is I'm not going to stop. There's nothing to stop me. There's no resistance, and I'll just keep going off and infinitely, or until I hit something, or I put on my inertial damper. Now this could be good because if you're trying to go long distances in a craft, you don't have to hold the button down and continue on pushing the craft. But sometimes what happens is you can make a ship that actually uses more power than is generated by the reactor. And here's an example of one. This is a mining craft that I made, and I have actually 2 drills here, and I don't need 2, and actually it's probably not. It's not really good. I mean, it does its job, but I could definitely design this thing better by putting the drill in the center of the vessel. Because what happens is, when you're mining, what happens is, now I'll stop here, and I'll just turn on the drill. Now you can see the ship is kind of going crazy, trying to counteract the rotational force of the drill. And because this doesn't have a big reactor, you can see on the right the power usage is getting over what the reactor can put out, so it makes it very difficult to control. And you'll see I'm really trying to keep this steady, and it's just flopping all over the place. I'm barely moving the mouse. I'm just trying to kind of keep it steady and not flip out, but it does. And that's one of the things with this game, which I really appreciate and enjoy, is the fact that these forces are present in the real world, and they have to deal with this on the space station, because, or in space on the shuttle, or whatever. When they do EVAs, they have their wrenches. They have pneumatic wrenches, but they produce no internal torque, because if they put the wrench on a bolt and turn it in space, there's nothing to hold, unless they're secured to the space station or the space shuttle itself. There's nothing to hold them from turning the opposite direction, and that's very important. And I think that helps make this game a little bit more realistic. And so let me just land here, and I'll show some other things. So the crafting system is pretty robust in this. Now, with this new crafting system, you have a refinery, which you put your ore that you mine. You put your ore in the refinery, and it uses power, and there's a certain amount of space that it has, and you can take nickel and turn it into a nickel ingot. Now, platinum you can turn into platinum, and so on, iron, gold. Now, uranium, you want to have a good supply of that right away, because what happens if you're starting a game that's like this, which was the minimal starting, that you just have a ship that's kind of semi-working. It'll get you to the asteroid. You can start working off of that because it's got a refinery, an assembler, a med bay, a reactor, and there was something else. Oh, just a storage container, and then the cockpit itself. But you can strip that thing and use the materials from it to build other things. And while I was stocking up on iron and stuff like that, I was mining by hand, and that'll get you where you need to go. And I just turned the volume down a little bit. I had it a little bit loud. So this is where I first started, and I've done a lot of work since. But this is all uranium here, and then this is iron. I started with just the drill, and I'll give you an example of what happens here. We'll just pick a spot, right? Turn the light on because it makes it a little bit easier. So we just mine, and I usually hold down the T key, which is basically it's the action key, and T will actually pick up anything that is in that reticle. But you'll probably end up having to go back through, and when you turn around, you'll see a bunch of stuff floating around, because you can't catch everything just because of the angle of the reticle and whichever way that the ore drops off. Now here I'm stuck a little bit. So you could do this to your heart's content, and then you look back, right? See, now because I have a station right outside, the gravity field extends pretty far, and as you can see, the orientation is the gravity is directly below me, so it's on a vertical plane, and the source of gravity is below. So what happens is all this stuff floats. I mean, sticks to the bottom. But no, if there was no gravity, it would actually just kind of float around. And I'll see if I can show you that, because this makes it easy. Once you get a gravity field, you can actually kind of plan on where your ore is going to go, and it makes it really easy. But if you don't have that, then what you're going to get is you're going to get a little bit of it's going to be a pain, because it'll just shoot off in one direction or another. So let me see if the field is back over here, and I'll show you what it looks like when things just fly off. But let's just go back to I'm going to turn off the gravity generator for a second here. Turn that off. So now we don't have any gravity, and what's going to happen is you got shit floating all over the place. Now this is especially when you don't have a lot of time and you don't want to really spend a lot of time mining. This can be kind of annoying, because you're going to have to search for all the pieces that fly out. So what I generally do, and what this example is here, was that I dug right into the mountainside here, or into the asteroid, and I just kind of mined in a straight line, and then I kept the entrance to this little mine smaller, and what happens is most of the stuff gets caught in this area before it goes out. So you have a little bit more time to get these things before they fly off into space, and it kind of keeps them a little bit closer together and grouped and clustered, so that you can easily go through and grab them before they fly off into space here. And they still will, and they go basically whichever way they come off the asteroid is which way they go. And let me just let's go over here. Whoop. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to get in here, and we'll do this. turn that back on. And you can see those asteroids, or those pieces of ore just fell down to the ground, and if you look, you'll find them right down there. See where the reticle is? You can see them still falling and moving around. And like I said, if you make something like that, if you're lucky, you can kind of shoot all these things off into one spot, and they'll all kind of collect down there. But again, you have to spend a lot of time to get the materials to build a gravity well, or you could semi-cheat, and what you do is you turn off your medical bay in the ship, or if you, as in this case I had it over here, I took it off the first ship and I put it over here, but I turned it off. I turned down this whole thing. I turned off the reactor, shut everything down, and I did a suicide, and then I respawned in a ship and then brought that over, because I couldn't find nickel for the longest time. It took me, I had to move to another asteroid to actually find it with the mining ship, and I was having trouble building the motors because those use nickel. Everything else was here: platinum, gold, silver, silicon, iron, and uranium were all pretty close. I mean, you got you know, you got platinum over here, you got iron. There's probably nickel, and I just didn't know what it looked like, because nickel and the iron ore look kind of similar. The nickel is like a darker red, and I kind of thought it was all iron, but this, you know, this might over here might be one of these could be actually nickel, and I'm not sure. I haven't looked, but I ended up going to that asteroid there, right where my reticle is, and I found nickel. So once I found nickel, I was fine. I didn't need anything else. And so I mean, like, if you really want to, you can kind of semi-cheat by just getting another ship, and then you can recover the resources from it. So what you have in your inventory is you have a certain amount of volume that you can use, or that you can utilize. So I better health up. All right, and while I'm actually doing this, you hit T to activate this med bay, and you're going to see the energy is going up on the left. That's the energy in your suit. You need to have that above 1%, or else you'll start taking damage. Once that runs out, then you start dying pretty quickly, and then you got your health there. That should keep it at 100% at all times. If you take a long enough fall, or if you do something like this, and then you turn, and you're in a gravity field, and if you turn off your jetpack, you'll fall on your head and die. And if you go too fast into a wall, you'll take damage. Also, if you're mining and something falls off on you, I've had it happen, and I can't verify exactly what it is that killed me, but I've been mining above me, and I died, and I don't know if it was something that fell on me or what, or if I hit something too hard. But that that is a possibility, so just pay attention to that. Now, all these things take a certain blueprint to develop, and you can go to the assembler, and you can, let's say we want to go to production. We want to build these interior plates. So I just want to build one. What's going to do is going to tell me how much iron it takes to do that, and once you close it, it'll probably build right away. Yeah, so it built right away. Some of these things take a lot longer, like the refinery I know takes forever to do uranium and stuff like that. It takes forever to break those down. So we just go ahead, and I'm going to throw that. I am going to throw that right in there. And that's another thing you can do. If you only want to move a certain amount, you can do that. And I don't know. Yeah, so you right click and drag. A lot of these things I'm kind of figuring out as I go. All right, so let's just jump back to what we need. So let's say we want to make a block. Okay, we're back. Stupid save. All right, we want to make just a block, a light armor block. So it takes 25 steel plates to do that. So we can't place one down because we don't have any steel plates in our inventory. We go back over to our container here, and I'll grab some. Now, it did take me a while to figure this out. If you hold down Shift, you get 100. If you hold down Control, you get 10. So every time you click it, you do that. That's just an easier way. Or you can just drag the whole thing over. It'll fill up whatever space you have. Now, I have my capacity filled. It's 10 times, so it's 10 times more than what a realistic level would be, because it just takes so long to move realistically. When you're taking stuff from one thing to another, you have to go, multiple trips. So if you want to be realistic, go with whatever it is for realism. But if you want to kind of enjoy the time that you spend, I don't have a lot of time to do things, so I try to expedite where I can. I turned that to times 10, and actually I turned the refining amount up to times 3 and the assembly amount up to times 3. You can change the speeds on that. Alright, so let's build this block. So now we put the block down, and we're going to get this grid work here, and it takes one steel plate to do. You can jump on this, you can walk on it, you can do whatever you want. It is a physical item, and it is, if you spread them out across the ground here and make a deck, you can actually walk on it. So what we want to do is we want to take our welder here, and we want to get up close, and then you'll see that if you look on the right hand side, it'll bring up a little window that says steel plates 1 out of 20, and then steel plate 0 out of 5. This is the amount of plates it takes to make this completely 100% full. You need 20 plates to make it. It's just a little over 20 plates. So there, we got 20 plates in. This is almost ready. So if we go to 21 plates, it actually makes the block, okay? So this block is done, but you can add another 5 plates. So wherever that red line is means that the item is actually usable. Now this happens whether it's a medical bay or a container or a refinery or assembler. Once you get to that red line, the object is physically in place and usable. There's just now a durability thing. In order to, you can move things around and take them down, but in order to do that, you have to use the grinder. So you go right up to a block and you start grinding away, you'll see that it's ticking off the steel plates, bringing them down, and it's putting them back into your inventory. So there is a 100% conversion rate on recycling, which is very handy because sometimes specialty materials are a little bit difficult to get. What the hell is that? Ooh, I dropped a welder. Cool. That's when I died at one time. Alright, so that's that. You got the drill, you got the grinder, and you got the welder. Now, you can make all sorts of great things by hitting the G key. Now, these are all the things you can do, and if you want to build them, you just drag them down to your bar here, and then when you select them, go ahead and you can put that there. Now I need construction components to build the light, which I do have plenty of those. Let's make a little trip here, and we'll get the construction components. We'll take a few. And this area needs lights, so let's throw some lights up here. And then we're gonna get up close to them. We might have to turn our jetpack on to get up to that level, and then you'll see that the interior light comes up, and you just assemble and repeat and repeat again. So that covers the construction end of things. And what else do we got going on? Okay, so my suggestion to you is if you're going to make a base on an asteroid like I did, you want to put a beacon up, because if for some reason the power goes out and you die, it's a little bit difficult to find your way back. So it's good to have that beacon there, which you can see from far away. And I'll just jump in my handy little ship and we'll go for a ride real quick, and you'll see what I mean. Alright, let's turn around. Just a little bit too sharply. Alright, so you can actually see that beacon now. If I go down out of the way here, let's see if I can get to the point where you can't see the ship, it's the station itself. Okay, so you can't see the station, but you can see where the beacon is, and you can see how far away you are from it. So that's very, very important. If you're going to do exploration to other areas, to other asteroids, you might want to put that beacon down so you can easily find your way back, because it's very easy to get lost in this game. I mean, it doesn't look like it, but if you go around an asteroid and you don't have a ship, and you're limited on how much energy your suit has, so you could actually find yourself stranded and not being able to get back. Now, this ship has landing gear. You need landing gear to land on these things. If not, they take damage, and so does your ship. And it's possible to take damage with the landing gear if you hit down too hard. But you'll see that it's green. If it's not connected, it's yellow. And if it's not anywhere near anything, it'll be black. So when you want to land, you just hit the P key, as in P as in Papa, and that'll lock you down. Now, if I don't hit the P key, I can't lift back off. As soon as I do that, I can. And I'll show you. Whoop. See, now that's black right there. That means it's not, there's nothing to connect to. And then if we go back up here, I'll bring it down, and I'll try to remember to leave my jets on here. Alright, so now it'll say in proximity down on the right hand side in that box, and then let's get out of here. And I probably just broke it. Okay, so this actually took damage because I hit it a little bit too hard, but you can see it's yellow, it's not locked down, so this actually, I could probably, it's more massive than it looks. I can't really move it. So you just want to pay attention to that, because you can move it around and cause a lot of damage. So we'll lock it down. We're locked down now, and I probably should fix what I messed up here. And you can see that the block physically took damage. And actually, while I'm thinking about it, these now cause damage if you walk into them. So let's see, I got 98%, now 95, and then 94. So you can take damage from those. I'm sure if you left those running and you walked into them, they'd probably kill you. In order to access these, you go to here, hit the K key, and then you can drag stuff over, and then run back to your little refinery over here, throw some shit in there, and then let that refine. What else? I think that kind of covers the basics. So like I said, you want to find a place where you get uranium, because that ship only has I think it's like 10 minutes of uranium fuel in it before it shuts down. Once it shuts down, you're in a big boatload of trouble, because you can't refine anything, at least that I know of. So if you don't have any uranium ready refined and you run out, you're going to be in deep shit, because you're not going to be able to do anything. You're not going to be able to refine the stuff you mine. Now, if that ever happens, and you maybe put a lot of work into your world, and you want to keep it, you could always just suicide yourself, and it'll bring you back with a new ship, and then you can just bring it over. One of the other things you can do is you can actually change the colors of your blocks, and you can see I have gray on the bottom, and then I have yellow, and I'm going to select black now. Now this is the P key. And that's what you use to change the colors, and it's going to remember whichever color you put down. So I found that you used to be able to change the color or something. Oh, you can still. Alright, so you can use the middle mouse button, and it will change the color of whatever you highlight, but it will remember what color you put down. So if you come back at a later time and you say, okay, now I got the framework up, I'm ready to start building these blocks, it'll start building them, and then it'll remember what color you put down originally, and it'll use that color. So I want to make this station a little bit more, I don't know, utilitarian. It's actually kind of Spartan now. There's really not much to it. I want to add some details and, like rooms and stuff like that. So this is just basically to get me going. It was to create a space where I could put my refinery, my assembler, and the reactor, the gravity, and everything like that, and then also a place where I could drop my ships off. And what I really want to do is I want to make this like a hangar, and then have a really tall ceiling. And that way things can come in and land in relative safety. because you can have weapons in this. I mean, I'm only doing this in single player because recording videos and dealing with griefers is two different things, and it becomes a little bit hectic. So I wanted to do something without that interaction, and unfortunately that's kind of the fun part. It's a more enjoyable part of the game is to deal with other people, like on building projects and stuff like that, because it does take a while to do this. I mean, you can see how long it takes to build one block, and that gets kind of redundant. So if you can get a bunch of friends together, that's I would suggest that highly, and this is a lot of fun. So hopefully you've learned something, and you know, if there's anything else you want to know, if you want to know some tips and tricks and anything else, just leave it in the comments, and I will get back to you on it, and you know, throw up sequential videos. And I do have a kind of a series going, but I'm playing too many things at once now. Diablo 2 or Diablo 3, that expansion is coming out tomorrow, and I've got the Kerbal Space Program, which I'm working on, and also EVE Online. So anyway, hope you like this. Like, subscribe, comment, check out my other videos, and leave a comment for me if you want to see anything special, or if you would like to have me challenge myself and build something that, you know, will help. So thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Fly safe-ish.